Are you trying to figure out how to leverage your sphere of influence to get more deals from the people who already know, like, and trust you? Well, if that is you, then you definitely want to stick around for this episode because I'm going to give you 5 tips to start getting more deals from your sphere and faster. As I am recording this episode, this is definitely, the middle of fourth quarter. And what typically happens with us real estate agents is you should be taking assessment on what has gone well in your business, like where do you want to make some adjustments and how do you want to plan appropriately and move forward. And I remember a few years ago, I was really, it was probably after my first or second year in real estate, I started off on a team, and that team did a lot of cold prospecting to internet leads and cold calling and things like that. So at the end of that year, I remember looking at my book of business and what I'd closed, and I had something like 33 deals. And I this sounds so crazy, but I literally made a T-chart. That's the teacher in me. I made a T-chart, and on one side, I believe that I put like a smiley face, and on the other side, I put a sad face, okay? And I literally listed out the number, like the people, like either they went on one side of the spectrum or not. What was this happy, like, and not necessarily where the circumstances of which they bought are so happy, but like, was this the type of deal, the type of relationship, the type of transaction that like made me happy and gave me life, or was it draining a little bit, right? And what I figured out when I did this activity towards the end of the year was like, man, the deals that came from people that I was in some sort of relationship with, whether it had been a referral, whether, we connected because we knew somebody on social media, whether they were actually my friend or neighbor, as opposed to those people that were colder to me on the initial connection, I was like, actually, I really enjoyed about half of the deals more. And I had to have an honest conversation with myself to say, okay, Rosemary, what are you going to do to get more of these people that you enjoy working with engaged? And it's not that the cold people weren't enjoyable, right? But it's just, maybe I didn't have that same type of connection. Maybe where they were actually buying and selling real estate, it was truly a little bit outside of the area I wanted to travel to or the area I was most familiar with. And real talk, it was like, if this was going to be the majority of my business, I wasn't going to be in business long. So I had to figure out, how do I effectively market to my sphere? That sphere of influence, the people who already know, like, and trust me, because not only did I really think truly that I was a better fit, and when I say a better fit, because a lot of times, like, the people in your sphere, they work, play, and live kind of where you do. So I, like, in terms of market knowledge, I felt like I was going to be better equipped to support them. But baby, also, that's the business that I liked a little bit better, right? And if I wanted to have longevity in this business, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to keep going after the cold leads. I had to have some sort of strategy around really growing that sphere of influence. And if you're like me, go ahead and leave me a comment, like just say, hey, me too, right? If you really want to grow that sphere. And I'm just going to share some things with you that since then, I will tell you that I would say 90-ish% of the business that I do, in some form or fashion, it comes from my sphere of influence. And when I think of sphere of influence, let me just define that real quick. I just think anybody who is like in your orbit, okay? Sometimes we put our sphere of influence in a box to say it has to be a friend or a family member. But honestly, who is in proximity to you? Like, who do you share space, air, like where is that commonality, as opposed to this being a complete stranger, right? So that could be a coworker if you're dual career. That could be somebody that goes to your church. That could be the soccer moms or the baseball moms or the basketball moms. That could be your actual friends and family. We're not going to leave them out. But also, let's think about the people that you do business with. Like, who is your exterminator? Who is your dentist? Who do you buy clothes from? Where do you get your nails done, right? These are all opportunities for us to grow our businesses. But a lot of times, right, you want that sphere of influence business, but we're not given the right energy in order to get it. So today I'm going to just really help you with my thought process and how I've been able to build a business that number one, that I love, where it becomes more like working with friends and family, because even if they weren't friends or family when we started, by the time we end, they become friends or family, and how you just continue to tap into these same networks, and it can just turn into something that you truly enjoy doing, and you're serving exactly where you're called. Now, I do want to say this before I give you the 5 tips. I think I have 5 tips, and you definitely want to be around for the last one. I always say that sauce for the end, because the last one is the one that people miss. But I do think that you have some coaches, you have some people that'll say you cannot build a predictable business from your sphere of influence. And I can understand why they would say that, but I'm going to respectfully disagree, because I do believe that when you are tactical and you put strategy behind how you are nurturing, pouring into, and representing yourself well as the go-to real estate professional, your sphere will respond back to you, right? What does not work, however, is for you to just believe because you posted in 2017 that you passed the real estate test, right? And you doing your stuff all on your own, like you doing your open houses and you doing all these other things. You're making your cold calls, but you are not actually prospecting, nurturing, and developing your sphere. You can't expect them to just automatically choose you just because you are you. So I would say that the same, if not more, prospecting habits that would go into you calling these cold leads, we have to put that energy and some into your sphere. So let's talk about tip number 1. I got them written down right here, okay? Tip number 1, while we're at it, you're going to have to stop being a secret agent, okay? You're going to have to get over yourself and just begin to understand, like, if you are a secret, let's really think about it, right? Who wants to work with somebody? Like, why would I have confidence in working with you? Like, and let's just take it off of real estate. Like, let's just say you have a friend who has a restaurant, right? And they think that they have the best food. They've been making their grandmama's recipes. And you literally are saying, man, I'm looking for a place to cater. Or you know that this is a problem that they know this is a problem that you have. And they never mention the fact, like, oh, we make the bomb, oxtails, or we make the bomb chicken or something like that, right? You're automatically going to think, well, maybe they don't even know what they're doing, because they obviously know I have this problem or this issue, and they never, ever mention it. They never bring it up. Nothing is weirder to me than to have friends and family, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that about you. And not to say you got to tell everybody your business, but your business is your business, okay? So get into the habit of stopping the madness about being a secret agent. And I know what you're saying. I already know. So let's just talk about it. You're like, I don't want to be salesy, Rosemary. I don't want people to think that all I am about is the money. And this is where we have to switch our thought process from being salesy to literally being of value, right? I can think of so many. I'll give you a great one. I was just at church the other day, and I had a previous client goes to church with me now. Well, she went to church with me then. I didn't know her then, but anywho. As a matter of fact, I feel like I told her about the church, but I digress. But she was having an issue because there was a leak or something like in their driveway, and she was freaking out like, Rosemary, I need you to come sell this house. I don't know what's going on with it. And then I reminded her, I'm like, oh, sis, like, don't forget you have, like, if you want to sell it, we can sell it. We'll still got to figure out what the problem is. But don't forget, you have a 10-year warranty from the builder, right? So I helped calm her down and walk her through that, right? That's not me being salesy. That's me being resourceful. If this girl never knew I was a realtor and she went to some old Tom, Dick, or Harry, somebody that she's not in a relationship with, who, she would not ever see again, then she could have wasted a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of anxiety. But because I wasn't a secret agent and because we are still in relationship with each other, I still get to provide her value. So I want you to stop thinking like, and then let me just say this. Then people probably ain't even thinking about you that hard. And anybody who is thinking like, I think about my life. If I'm posting about being a real estate agent, if I am handing out my business card, if I'm sharing what I do and somebody else has a problem with it, that's more about them than it is about me, because this is the way I'm called to serve the community, okay? So in order to serve your sphere, I was just on a phone with one of my own coaching students, and she said, she was like, I missed out on some opportunities because like my neighbors didn't even know I was in real estate. And then we want to get all salty and we want to get our feelings hurt when people don't choose us. But how are they going to choose you if they don't know who you are and what you do? So the very, very first thing, like even like my friends, even in a friend group situation, I will make like jokes and comments about the fact that I'm a real estate agent, or I share, right? I share different things that are happening in market. I share what, resources that I may have for them, things like that. So and I think that's another thing. Like, I think sometimes we think being a secret agent is only about announcing that we're a real estate agent, but also how do we demonstrate that professionalism within our friend groups or our community groups, okay? So definitely don't be a real estate agent. Make sure you're talking about it on social media and you share. Like, people enjoy behind the scenes and seeing your story. So share the different things that you're experiencing. And it could literally be like, hey, I'm grabbing this bomb cup of coffee from my favorite coffee shop on my way out to my showings today, right? So don't be a secret agent. Like, don't do stuff in secret. It's just weird to me when people, you want to make money, but you don't want to tell nobody who you are. So stop doing that. That's going to really, really help you in growing your sphere. Okay, here's number 2. It kind of builds off of number 1. We have to start being resourceful, okay? This is why, going back to number 1, we get scared to be a secret agent because we are taught by all of these real estate gurus, who do you know who wants to buy or sell? We're taught all of these sales tactics, and we're not just really taught how to be humans who are out here helping people. Like, at the end of the day, you do know that's what your whole real estate career is about, right? It is about positioning yourself to figure out who has a problem that you can help solve. But this is where it gets really good when it comes to your sphere of influence. Don't just make the problems real estate problems, okay? What else are the people in your life dealing with, and how can you show yourself as a resource? So I'm going to give you a very simple thing that I do all the time that I hear so much feedback about. And I wish I could say I was so smart when I started this, but now I'm smart enough to finish it. So when I think about who is, I was going to say comprised, I think that's the word. Look, I'm trying to get it right. Who's comprised in my sphere of influence? Most people that I engage with, not all, they are that, look, I used to say young adult, but baby, we getting up there. I'm in my yes we can year. I'm 44 now. So a lot of the people in my friend groups, a lot of like the mom groups that I'm a part of, like, we are in that, like, that later elementary to high school age kids. These ladies are busy. They got a lot going on. So what are some of the things that can make their lives easier? So randomly, I just would post. If I found something cool at Costco, I would post it. And you know how it is. You see stuff at Costco, but you're like, I don't know, should I, should not? Or maybe you didn't notice it. Let me tell you something. I get so much feedback from when I post egg bites, or when I post, it sounds as crazy as it sounds. I'm always thinking of my ideal customer who actually is in my sphere of influence. So when they see that I'm posting and I'm being resourceful about solutions, about problems that I'm solving problems for them, like what are they going to eat for dinner, or what's a quick snack, or, where do you buy this in bulk, and what is a good buy and what isn't a good buy, because I have just found this small way to stay resourceful, then I also get to stay top of mind. But what are the other things that you can be resourceful about? I'll give you a couple of them, okay? You might want to grab a pen or something. Okay, like, can you share about local finds, local restaurants, local small businesses, local service providers, okay? So, who are you using for an exterminator? Who's changing your filters and servicing your air conditioning unit? Where are you going to go to cater a party, or where are you going to go to host an event, right? So finding ways to become resourceful what that demonstrates, right, is your resourcefulness in everything. Because remember, we're not secret agents, and then we're demonstrating our resourcefulness. So then it's just kind of like, so obviously when I need help buying a house, I see how resourceful she is in this arena. Of course, she's going to be on top of her game in that one. So find ways to be resourceful. Okay. Don't just, people be posting on Facebook all the time. Oh, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that. Don't just comment. Pick up the phone and call them and position yourself as a resource. And I promise you, like, that will go so much further than, hey, call me when you think of real estate, right? No, call me when you think of pink. Call me when you think of Costco. Call me when you're trying to figure out what to do on a date night, because you know I'm going to know what to do. And that is something that's going to be very important. It's going to help you grow and deepen your relationships with your sphere of influence. Okay. Number 3, you got to talk to more people, right? One way to get more deals out of your sphere is to grow your sphere, right? I got to be honest with you though, right? Okay. Here's my honest thing. I have been officing out of this office building for about 2 years. Like this is why I got to be honest with you, because I don't always get it right, and I'm looking at my missed opportunities. So there are, a couple of corporate groups, because I work in a co-working space, a couple of corporate groups. And I'm just going to say they weren't always like, people, you speak in the morning, they don't really speak back. But you know what? I'm not responsible for them. I'm responsible for me. I literally thought to myself yesterday, because I was coming in, I saw one of the ladies and she commented on something I had on, which was probably one of our most friendliest exchanges. And I wanted to say something else to her, but then I thought to myself, you big silly lady, me, you don't even know her name, right? Have you stopped and had a conversation with her? And I know I'm not by myself, right? How many people are within your stratosphere? You might see them is it your neighbor? You might see them every day. You might see them pretty often. But guess what? You don't do a great job of having conversations, okay? So the more conversations we have, the more you are going to grow your sphere of influence. So riddle me this. What do you think would happen if, like, when you got your nails done or your pedicure, if you actually put your phone down and start talking to the person who's doing your nails, right? What do you think would happen if when you were checking in for your kid, checking your kid out at school, or you're checking in for the dentist, if you actually struck up a conversation, got to know that person, got to know their name, see where they live? Like, there are just so many opportunities that I think that we miss, all because we are so wrapped up in our bubble of whatever we have going on, and we are not having conversations. So I'm going to encourage you to have more conversations, but I'm going to take it even deeper. Let's say you're invited to your friend's party. I love this. I love it when people invite me to their stuff. I am invited to a birthday party on Saturday night for my husband's frat brother. And let me tell you what I know. I think I'm going to know most of the people there, but I'm going to tell you one thing I'm going to do is anybody who I don't know that's there, I'm going to know them before I leave, right? So when you start going to social functions, and I get it, you're introverted or you're this or you're that. Listen, we just need to be nice and just start engaging with people. Maybe you don't talk to 10 people, but can you meet one person at the event and not just stand in the corner talking to your one friend, right? So the holidays are coming up. This is a great time. People are normally more social opportunities for us. So I'm going to encourage you, when you are in these social and networking opportunities, to start having conversations. I remember I went to a birthday party. It was a birthday party for a 1-year-old. And, I struck up a conversation with this cute couple. They had a little boy at the time. And I always ask the same thing. Like, if you want to turn any conversation to a real estate conversation, all you have to do is ask the person, where do you live? And at the time, they lived in McKinney, Texas. We struck up a conversation. I friended them on Facebook right there. Facebook, because I was not a secret agent, honestly did the work for me. And a year later, I sold them a house, okay? And since then, that's been about 4 years, maybe 3 years now, I lose count of the amount of referrals they have sent my way, all because I opened my mouth and started talking to them at the 1-year-old baby birthday party, okay? So talk to more people, introduce yourself, friend the people on social. That is going to go a long way. Okay. Number 4, growing that sphere of influence so that you can get more deals. Okay. Host events. Like literally, like it's one thing to go to an event, but where are your opportunities to gather people? And I am not talking these like Pinterest style, gotta have balloon arches, like, baby, bye. Okay, it's just too much, right? Can you and 2 neighbors get together for a walk? That's an event. That's like a mini event. Literally tonight, me and some of my friends, we are getting together finally in Texas. It's like under 60 degrees, or not even, I'm lying. It's like 70 degrees. We're like chili. It's time to eat some chili. I'm having them at my house, right? They're bringing the chili. We're just going to hang out and connect. But guess what that does? That helps deepen my friendships. It helps deepens the relationships. And I know you cannot always make the correlation, but the deeper you go with relationships, the deeper and the more expansive your business will be, because relationships are the real currency. Because think about it. Let one of my friends be at work tomorrow or be at work next week, and they're talking to somebody and their coworker mentions that they are thinking about selling their house. I'm top of mind. We just had chili. Oh, girl, you better call Rosemary because she is blah, 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 right? Because I'm not going to be a secret agent with my friends. I'm going to be resourceful with my friends, all of those things like that. So make sure that you be the person who is bringing people together, okay? And if you are in a neighborhood, I'm going to tell you, if I never ever sold a house outside of my neighborhood, that would be a-okay with me. That is like one of my goals in life, is to, I don't want to use the word dominate, but to be the go-to real estate bestie in my neighborhood. But in order to do that, right, in order to create real relationships with your neighbors and to create raving fans from them, it has to go further than just waving when you're walking down the street. So where are your opportunities to gather people together? Okay. So definitely want to say that. Okay. And then here's the last one, number 5. This is the most important one. Okay. Here's the most important one. Friend, be a good human. This is really underrated, but let me tell you, people do business with those who they know, like, and trust. And we have to be very aware of how people experience you, okay? And if the majority of people in your life, like if you are giving off anything other than, and I'm not saying everything is roses and, Skittles every single day, but like there are just like, I'm just thinking of some real estate agents that I know that, yeah, they might be doing deals, but when I look at their stuff, I'm just kind of like, I would never call you. And not even just real estate agents. I just think about different people, like just what they put out into the world. I just wouldn't want to invite that into my life, right? And sometimes it's not even negative, right? But sometimes it's just the opposite of positive, right? It's not inviting. I guess that's what that is. So the more because your character goes a long way. And this is something else too. There have been scenarios where I will meet people, like I'm pretty active on social media. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. Like, so the way you see me today is the way that I am every single day. But there have been times where I've met people and they're like, oh, you act the exact same way you do on social media. Because I'm on social media, not being a secret agent. I just want to point that out. But like your character has to match who you present yourself to be. And if you're a little stank, look, I'm from Chicago, and I'm not saying all Chicago people stank, but I was pretty stank because, it's rough in the shy, right? So I actually had to really do some like character development work. First of all, getting to know Jesus real good, letting him have me see my flaws and see his goodness. And from his goodness, I get to flow out some goodness, to just everything from self-help books to just putting myself in right and ready company. Now people want to know you, right? That's the real kicker. Like I have literally had opportunities, and I thank God for it, where, I've had people to say, I can't wait till I get to buy a house so that I can buy with you. Or when their home buying or selling journey was over, they were a little sad because we didn't have a reason, right, to be in communication every single day. And like, there is like, we are called to be lights. And I truly believe, right, this is why we have Real Estate Bestie. This is why I show up on YouTube and on podcasts, because I truly do believe that us besties have an opportunity to be ministers in the marketplace and just being a great human. And I'm not saying perfect. I'm not saying you're not flawed. I'm not saying that you don't get mad and ticked off some days, but like just choosing to be positive and to live a life like that, it is contagious. You want people to wonder, like, man, I wonder what it would be like to work with somebody like that, somebody who's solution oriented, right? Somebody who has a positive vibe and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, that is going, like, your character is going to grow, because you can do all these marketing tactics in the world, but if working with you is some garbage because of the way you show up, it's gonna fall flat. And you're gonna have to resort to cold calling and things like that, because it's gonna be very evident where your heart is. All right, bestie, I hope that this was helpful for you. Do me a favor and drop it in the comments. Let me know, which tactic are you going to try, right? What's something that you want to focus on so that you can truly, truly grow your sphere of influence, grow your business, grow everything that you want in your real estate life for 2025. I want to know what you are going to work on, and I can't wait to see you next time. Have a good one, bestie. Love you. If you enjoyed this episode and you have a real life bestie that you think it would resonate with, y'all, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button, because you know what? We are better together. Make sure you share the podcast, and I appreciate your reviews. I appreciate you giving me 5 stars more than you know. I'll talk to you next week.